Hi guys, today I'm going to do a video around setting up your VS1 file and how to create timelines for your staff for training, how to assign staff different modules, and how to import and export data and create all your opening balances. So by the end of this video, you should have all the knowledge you need to get your file, your VS1 file database up and ready to go. So it won't take long. It's just a bit of playing around with your data on spreadsheets, importing it, and you're good to go. Literally, it does not take long at all. All right, so first steps, you should have a little training kit sent to you, and I take it you're already started here and watching this video. So first step, yay. All right, next one is if you open this training assignment sheet, we need to enter in the staff that you want to train. So David, whoever, doesn't matter, and what modules he has to learn. So whatever one you want him to learn, just fill it in like so. Now, the idea of this is once you've filled in all your staff, it then tells you how to move over to the implementation planner. And this is a bit of a planner to give you an idea of what you should allocate time-wise and how long it should take. Now, I've set this up for training at least 5 to 10 staff, and how quickly they pick this up that's completely flexible and interchangeable. So day one, you should be aiming to get all these areas completed, and then each of the staff that you filled in previously, like David, you would go here, and the modules that he wants to learn. That's all you really need to do. You just need to help your project manager understand what they're going to learn to do, and that will show up in here. And then you can fill in the days and what they have to do through that. So down the bottom here, phase 4, it's importing, exporting, and how much we allow for that. So that give you a good idea of where you're going and what the guys have learned and how much they've understood. All right, let me go back out. The main one with all of that is fill in this training assignment sheet so your project manager knows who to train in what. We don't want the factory guys learning about payroll, for argument's sake, or understanding accounts. So you need to give us an idea of which staff members are to learn what. This is the main one. Don't focus too much on the training assignment, on the implementation planner. We can map that out with you as we go. All right, there you go. Now, back into VS1. When you look in VS1, and I'll take accounts for argument's sake, every list has an export import function, this one here. And when you look at anything, it all has this export import function. It all works in exactly the same manner, in exactly the same way. So basically, if I take this, I can dump and export, treat it as a spreadsheet. It'll create an export file for me, like so. I can open that, and there's my spreadsheet. Now, in this, if I close out of here now, in your kit that we sent out to you, you'll have a bunch of sample spreadsheets because you can't export it from VS1 because you don't have it yet. But here are a bunch of sample spreadsheets to start with. And you need to start with number 1, which is your accounts, because accounts load to supplier. Supplier and accounts load to product. So don't do your product one first, because product, for argument's sake, is looking for a preferred supplier. So it needs to know who the preferred supplier is when I look at my product list. So if I scroll out to the right here, there. If you haven't imported your suppliers, it can't fill in that column. So obviously it needs it. Same for your accounts. When you look out to the options, it needs to know which accounts are going to go where. So you need to do them first. So accounts first, then suppliers, then products. The rest you can do in any order. It really doesn't matter too much. So what you're going to do, and I'll work on this accounts to give you an idea. The sample one has all the current accounts in it. So these are all the default accounts in VS1. This will obviously be 0, but I've just dumped this from our sample company. So what you do is you just kind of highlight, leave a couple of rows, or you can leave it all there if you like, whatever you choose. I'm just going to remove all of those. And then from your current software or your previous software, just fill in the account name here, fill in the description, and so on. If there's an account number, fill in here, and so on. You can see the concept though. You basically need to fill in each of those columns all the way down. Now, what's really important, if you leave the ID, it will edit the record. If it's blank, it will make the record. Okay, so let me bring all that back up. If the value here, if you have an ID here, it will edit the advertising account if you change anything on this row. If you change anything here, because the ID has a value, it will match it with VS1 tables and edit that value. If you make it blank, it will add those accounts. It thinks you're trying to make new ones, so it will add. So keep in mind, with every list, if you leave the ID, it's going to edit the record. If you leave it blank, it'll add the record. Okay. And again, just copy in here what you need. Now, these guys, so you've got AP account, AR account, it's a fixed asset, liability, expense, credit card, and so on. Okay, makes sense. There's your tax codes. I would recommend you load those, and we'll come out to the right. Here's where you do your sub levels. So sub levels like so. Now these are important on your account side when you come into here and you use what we call tree mode, this one. And what that does is it'll show sub accounts under each account like so. So if I'm looking at the manufacturing, COGS is a sub account under COGS offset. So that goes into sub account. Come over here. That's why you've got level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. There you go. So when I scroll down, there's the thing, and it's a sub under that. Beautiful. All right, let me go back. So there's your basic concept. What you need to do now is go through each of these spreadsheets and fill in based on the columns as much as you can. So each one of those spreadsheets in that list, you need to open it up and fill in the columns. Now, one last piece, when you're looking at phone numbers, particularly cell or mobile, they must have a country code, because VS1 uses SMS messaging and stuff like that. So having a value in here that looks like, if you put a 0 in front of that, will not work. It'll fail. So you need to have a country code in there, in this case +1. Must have a country code with a plus in front of it. So when it tries to SMS, the +1 tells it which country to send to. So this record here will fail, as will this. So you need to adjust those records for your phone numbers. Just keep that in mind. Okay. All right, once you've done that, when you get VS1 up and running and you're ready to start loading it and stuff like that, we simply go to import, import template. You select your template, it'll give you a record and import. That's it. Literally, that is it. That's how easy it is to do. Alright. Once you've done that, once you've imported those 3 major ones at least, and by the 3 majors I mean the accounts, supplier, and product list, then move on to watching this video here, how to enter your opening balance videos. So you need those basic lists in first. I would recommend you get them all in, but for a really basic start, you just need the 3. I would add these 2 in as well, but entirely up to you. Then watch your video around entering opening balances and you're good to go. You really are good to go. So again, anything around this, if it's not making sense, you will be assigned a project manager. Reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to help out. Hope that made sense.